In this video, we will cover how to access DeepSeek models in Spring AI using different APIs. So as you can see in this diagram, we are primarily going to use Ollama and OpenAI to access the DeepSeek model. So in Ollama, we do have DeepSeek models availability as DeepSeek R1. When we are saying OpenAI, so we are basically going to call this DeepSeek API and Groq API to access the DeepSeek models. It's just that we do not have to add any specific dependency related to DeepSeek or Groq API. These particular APIs are very compatible with OpenAI. So we are going to pass our configuration as we have been calling OpenAI models, but under the hood, it would be calling these models which are listed over here. So under DeepSeek, we do have models availability as DeepSeek Chat and DeepSeek Reasoner, whereas under Grok, we do have models availability as DeepSeek R1 Distill Llama 70B. So we'll see how to access all these models. So first thing what we have to do is go to this start.spring.io and then we have to add certain dependencies. We are going to make it very simple. So first dependency what we have to use is Spring Web for our endpoint, and on top of that we have to add OpenAI because we are going to call the DeepSeek and the Grok models using OpenAI. So this is going to be your OpenAI dependency, and because we are also going to call models via Ollama, so we do need to add dependency for Ollama as well. Now we do have all this listed out. We can generate this and then import it into our IntelliJ. So this is what we are going to do. Here you could see I have imported this by calling it Spring AI Access DeepSeek. Under this I have created one controller folder, and under this we do have one controller class. So under this you can see I have created one endpoint which is going to be AI, and then we are going to have a post mapping over here which is going to be chat. And then if you are already following this Spring AI playlist, so you know how to call any model in Spring AI. So we are primarily going to use a chat model API over here. So this particular endpoint is going to take an input which we are passing as a string message, and once you get a message, we know how to call chat model API. So we are just calling chat model.call. Under this we are invoking this new prompt, and here we are passing our input message because here we just want to get the output in the plain string. So we are navigating till get result get output dot get content. Once you reach over here, it's going to return you the string which is going to be the return type over here. This code is very simple. Now we have to focus on our configuration, which is going to be very important in this case. So let's go to our application.properties. I have listed out what properties we have to pass for OpenAI and what we have to pass it for Ollama. So let's focus on the OpenAI first, and under OpenAI also we are going to explore the DeepSeek first. So let me go to the documentation now just to show you like from where you can get all this property and what properties you have to exactly pass, and you do not have to remember all this property as such. So I'm going to go to Spring AI documentation, and if you go to Spring AI documentation under chat model, now you could see okay, they have listed out this DeepSeek AI as well, and here you could see DeepSeek AI model is compatible with OpenAI API. So what they are recommending, okay, you just have to add this Spring AI dependency, and we just have to pass all these values in the OpenAI format only. Here you could see they are passing OpenAI API key. Under this now we have to pass the DeepSeek API key, then Spring AI OpenAI base, we have to pass this particular URL, and then there is a chat option model. Here we can pass a model as we have seen in the diagram as well. In DeepSeek we do have two kind of model. One is normal DeepSeek chat and another is DeepSeek Reasoner. So if you scroll it a bit down, then you can just copy paste the properties from here also, API deepseek.com and then API key, and then there are some additional parameters also that you can pass it. We are using this particular property to pass DeepSeek LLM model. So here I can either pass DeepSeek chat or I can pass DeepSeek Reasoner, and we also have to pass this API key which is going to be DeepSeek API key. So just to get this API key, here it is also written like to get it started, you will need to obtain a DeepSeek API key. So let me just click on this. You could see this is a DeepSeek API documentation, and here I need to click on this API key, and their service is as of now down. So we cannot retrieve this particular key as of now. So if you have a key, then you just have to pass this key over here, and that's it. Like you can just go ahead and call your endpoint. So because this particular API key is not available, so we are going to go to second option, and second option is going to be Grok. Instead of using the native DeepSeek model, we are going to use DeepSeek model available on Grok Cloud, and this is the documentation which you could see over here, and here they do have listed out all the models which is available. You can see the productions model, and we do not have any model as such over here, so we have to go to preview models, and here you could see at the top there is a DeepSeek model available. I'm just going to take this model name and I'm just going to pass it over here. For the base URL, you can also get it from the documentation. Here you could see one particular section for Grok as well, so I'm just going to click on this, and again same thing is going to come into picture. It's just that the base URL is going to get changed now. I'm going to take this base URL from here. Again, you can get it from the properties as well, and I'm just going to pass this base URL over here instead of DeepSeek. So this is my base URL. Now I need to get a key. Now to get a key, you have to register your key over here in this API key. So here it's asking me to log in first, and I already have a key listed over here. If you want to create another key, you can just click on this create API key, and then you can get that key very quickly. I'm just going to use the key what I have. So I have registered that key in my environment variable, so I can invoke it just like this. Here I can just say Groq API key. We have passed our base URL, we have passed our API key, and we have passed our DeepSeek model as well. And this is a reasoning model, so R1 is our reasoning model. So let me just go ahead and try to run this code. Okay, so it is giving error because we have added OpenAI and Ollama both. So what I can do is I can go to my pom.xml and I can comment it out Ollama for time being, because we are going to deal with OpenAI only. I can just mark this opening and close bracket. So I have to go and clean my repo accordingly. This is done. Let me just go ahead and try to rerun the code once more. And now our application has been started. So we can go to our Postman and try to hit this endpoint. Our endpoint is going to be AI chat, and we are just passing a message. What is the difference between reasoning LLM model and normal LLM models? And we will just hit this endpoint. This is giving internal server error. So it's saying the model doesn't exist or we do not have access to it. Okay, so I guess instead of this, we do have to pass this 70B. So let me just try to update this, and let me just try to rerun this code now. We'll go to our Postman and we'll try to hit this endpoint once more, and this time we were able to get a response. So you see, like when we are dealing with reasoning models, so it's going to start with a think tag. This is not going to be your response. This is going to be model's think tag. So where is it trying to understand, okay, what exactly are we asking and what exactly it has to do. So we can see what these reasoning models are thinking. This is not available in any of the commercial model, but this is available in DeepSeek model because this is open source. So they have disclosed the thinking of the model as well. So from here, and then you can see it's going to close over here. So till this point is just thinking. So now we can see, okay, what this model is thinking about our question and how it is coming up with the response. So once its thinking is completed, after that, from here the responses are going to come. So it has listed out all the differences what it thinks there are between the normal LLMs and the reasoning LLMs. Using Grok, actually we were able to get the response very quickly as well. So it just took like 5 seconds to generate all this tag, and you could see there are a lot of text is being generated. So we are getting the thinking tag also, and at the bottom we are getting the response, but everything has been generated within 5 seconds, which won't be the case if you are using a native DeepSeek model or if you are going to use the DeepSeek model via Ollama. If you're looking for fast response using open source model, then you can definitely try Groq. This is completed. We were able to get a response using this. Now we will see how to access DeepSeek model using Ollama. So we know, like when we are using Ollama, we do not have to pass any kind of key. So there you don't see any parameter for the key. The only thing what we have to pass is our base URL and the chat option model. So in this case, now we will go to Ollama. Under Ollama, we will go to models, and we can see at the top there is this DeepSeek R1 model, and then there are different versions of it. You can just go with any of the versions. Only thing what we have to remember is your RAM size. So if we click on the GitHub and you come over here, then you get an idea, okay, what kind of RAM is required. So it's saying like you should have at least 8 GB of RAM available to run the 7B models, 16 GB of RAM is required to run 13B models, and 32 GB of RAM is required to run 33B models. Considering that, I can either try with 7B or I can go with the 1.5B because this is what I can run it considering the RAM capability of my local machine. I will just try to go ahead with the 1.5B RAM for now. now to pull out this model, we have to run this command. And if you don't know how to run any of the open source model using Ollama, then I have already covered it in my playlist. I will put that video link in the description so that like you can get idea how to set up Ollama and how to pull all those models. Here we are just going to focus on pulling this specific model. First of all, I can just see, do I have any of the models? So I do have, some of the models over here, open source model, and now I have to pull this model. So I am just going to pull this particular model, Ollama pull, and then the command is pulling this model. So even 1.5B model is of 1.1 GB. So this is the storage which is required to keep this model on our local, but the RAM requirement would be different and it can totally fit in my local machine. So meanwhile, I can just take model information from here. I can pass this. So this is going to be model which we have just pulled recently from Ollama platform, and then we have to pass this base URL as well. Again, just to get that idea, we are going to go to documentation, and here we do have Ollama. Pass the base URL which is going to be this. So I can just take this, and then on top of that we are just passing a model name. Nothing much, but the rest of the properties are listed over here if you want to pass anything else. So I will just go over here, put the base URL like this, and then we'll go to our pom.xml. Now we will comment it out this OpenAI and we'll add the dependency for Ollama. We will again go to our Maven, clean the repo, and then refresh our repo. Now we are all set to call open source model using Ollama. So we'll go back to our download. This has been completed as, so if you just want to try it out whether this has been downloaded successfully or not, then we can just try it out this model by using Ollama run command, and now we can pass any kind of message and it will try to give us a response. So this is running successfully on our local, and we have set up our parameters as well. So now I go and rerun this application. Again, I will go to my endpoint. So we have got this internal server error, and this is coming because it's saying invalid URI scheme localhost. So what I need to do is probably pass this HTTPS as well. We updated our endpoint to HTTP, and we'll again go back and we'll try to rerun this. Now actually it has started and it is taking some time to generate a response because it's running on our local. So here you could see this particular open source model which is running on my local took 58 seconds to generate a response, and again it started with this thing tag and the response, and at the bottom then we can see the differences between reasoning LLM and normal LLM model. This is how you can integrate DeepSeek model with Spring AI and run it on your machine. That's all what we have in this video. Thank you for watching.